Hey, welcome back to Ozarks Prepared, where I'm going to share with you not only how to prepare, but how to survive and to even thrive. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about setting your preparedness goals. Let's get to it. So I've had a lot of people ask me, how do I stay on track and how did I get so far along in bushcrafting and some other survival skills? And I tell them all the same thing. It's about setting your goals and then pursuing your goals. Goals are very important. Whether you are a very new prepper or a very seasoned prepper, setting the right goals and then going after them is what's going to get you to where you want to be. So when I set a goal, my goal in that is to strive at perfection on that goal. And that really takes me back to one of my favorite quotes, which is by Vince Lombardi. And he said, "We will strive for perfection. Even though it's not attainable, we'll find ourselves end up being great." And that's really what setting goals is about, is to try to get to perfection and reaching that goal. You might not ever get to perfection and probably won't. That's a hard thing to attain. But along the way and along the journey, you're going to look up one day and realize you're really great at it. Before we get into the goals, habits play a big role when you are trying to set your goals and in reaching your goals. In fact, it's been said that 95% of everything you do, feel, and achieve is set by your daily habits. So what kind of habits do you have? What you need to do is you need to sit down and have a real serious discussion with yourself and ask, is the habit you have getting you closer to your goals daily or further away from your goals every day? Most of us have bad habits that need adjustments, to say the least. And maybe some of us even have good habits that need some tuning up and need some more practice. So before you set your goals, sit down and really look at your habits, good and bad, and see where you can adjust that so we can reach our goals. So before I get into my formula of how I set my goals, I want to talk to you about the 3 types of goals there are. Number 1 is lifetime goals. Now that obviously goes without saying, but it's where do you want to be towards the later years of your life? Maybe towards retirement, maybe towards even the latter years of your life, or maybe 20 years down the road. So the first type of goal you need to think about setting is your lifelong goal. The second type of goals is your long-term goals. Now these are your workhorse goals. These are going to help you get to your lifelong goal. Your long-term goals need to be anywhere between 5 and 10 years long. And then finally, the third one is your short-term goals. Now, not all short-term goals are real short-term. They could be a month, 6 months, even a year down the road. But these are your stepping stone goals. These short-term goals are going to help you achieve your long-term goals, which in turn is going to help you achieve your lifelong goals. So when I'm setting goals, there are 7 steps I do in setting my goals. The first thing, obviously, is you need to decide. You need to sit down and think what you want your goals to be and how many of them you want. When you're doing this, you need to think carefully. You don't need it to be like a New Year's resolution that most people break in, 2 to 3 weeks. You need to be smart, concise, and really make sure it's something that you want to achieve at a later date. The second step is write it down and carefully. So once we've decided, you need to write it down. You need to write it out, get your whole thought process on it, and really take the time to dive into that goal. The third step is to tell someone. When you have an accountability partner, or you have told someone what you want to do, you're more likely to actually stay with it to try and achieve that goal. So once you've decided, you've written it down, find a good partner that's going to not bring you down, but it's going to push you and have you remember why you set that goal in the first place. And that is a very important step. Number 4 is break down your goal. And what I do when I'm breaking down my goal is I use the SMART acronym. And that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Let's go through these steps. So the first one is specific. Make sure your goals are focused and maintain a tangible outcome. Without the specifics, your goal runs the risk of being too vague to achieve. By being more specific, it helps you identify what you want to achieve. You should also identify what resources you are going to utilize to achieve your success. So this one is measurable. You should have some clear definition of success. This is also going to help you to evaluate achievement and to also progress. This component often highlights how many or how much, and it highlights how you'll know you achieved your goal. So make sure your goal is measurable. The A stands for attainable. Your goal should be challenging yet attainable to achieve. Reflecting on this component may reveal any potential barriers that you may need to overcome to realize success. Outline the steps you're planning to take to achieve your goal. So if you've never worked out and you think that you're going to be Mr. Universe in a year, that's just not going to happen. So make sure the goals you set are attainable in a reasonable amount of time. You also want your goals to be relevant. This is about getting real with yourself and ensuring what you're trying to achieve is worthwhile to you. Determining if this is aligned with your values and if it's a priority focus for you. This helps you answer the why. And like with anything in life, if you don't have a why or a reason behind it, or you're not focused and it's not relevant, it's going to make it that much tougher to achieve, and chances are you'll never finish with your goal. So make sure they are relevant to you. So the T stands for time bound. Every goal needs a target date, something that motivates you to really put the focus and the discipline necessary into achieving it. This answers the when part of it. It's important to set a realistic time frame with your goal to ensure you don't get discouraged. Getting discouraged is the number one reason people don't reach their goal. So when you've got a time frame down, make sure you know that you could reach it, or at least you're giving yourself a chance to reach it. It can be a challenge, but you need to be able to reach it. So we've decided, we've wrote it down carefully, we have told somebody about it, we have used our SMART acronym in finding the right way to put down our goals and achieve them. So now after all that, we need to plan our first step. What's the first thing we're going to do to achieve our goal, to start on our stepping stone short-term goals? So if one of your goals was to become a fire expert, then your first step might be watching videos on fire or ordering a kit and practicing with it. So just planning your first step is very important. You want to make it fun, but you want to make a learning experience. You want to make it something that you could achieve early and you can check off the box. You can go to your next stepping stone goal and becoming that fire expert. Here's an example of one of my goals using the SMART acronym. I want to be a foraging expert, and I've given myself a date of January 1st, 2022. I'm already 16% of the way through, and what I want to have done by June 20th or June 1st is meet with a local expert, and by August 1st, spend a week in the field harvesting with them so I can learn. I also, by the 1st of 2021, I want to master mushrooms. There's all kinds of mushrooms out there. And by June 5th of 2021, I want to learn all the medicinal values of the local plants. And then by September 5th, I want to eat nothing but what I forage for a whole week. And by that point, I will have a pretty good grasp on being an expert in our area on foraging. So this is just an example of that plan in action. The next one when I'm setting my goal is just you keep going. I mean, that is the sixth step in this. You just got to keep going. You got to pull up your goal and say, okay, my target date was here. I might not have hit it, but I'm not going to quit because I will achieve it. And so what? If you push it off 2 or 3 weeks, you still have achieved that goal, which is a big deal. A lot of people, And you know, I was one of these probably, oh man, 10 years ago, I was going through a workout program and I was doing phenomenal. And then there was a couple things I didn't hit, and then I went on a cruise and I just forgot it all. Just said, forget it. Looking back, if I'd have just stuck with it another week or two, I would have hit all my goals. So push through it. Everybody's going to hit a wall. Once you hit that wall, you got to decide, are you going to let it stop you? Or are you going to turn around? Or are you going to climb over that wall and keep going? So just keep going ahead. And then finally, every goal you hit, you need to celebrate. Hey, that's a win. I might have 15, small steps, 4 long-term goals to get to my lifetime goal, but I got the first one out of the way. I can keep going and building momentum like a giant snowball. So be sure and celebrate every time that you knock off or achieve a goal. So prepping is like anything else in this life. If you want to get to a certain part or a certain point in your journey, you've got to take the journey. I mean, you got to take those first few steps. And like with anything else, if you do not have a roadmap, you do not have the goals, the long term, and the short stepping stone goals, you're going to veer off the path. But if you got it down on paper and you continue, follow that roadmap you set for yourself, you're going to wake up one day and you might not be a perfectionist, but you're going to be great, and you're going to be somebody that some people can look to help them on their journey. Hey, I appreciate you guys joining me. I know that goal setting might not be the most fun or exciting video to do, but for everybody who is prepping now or who wants to prep, it is a very important step to take to get you where you need to go. And not only in prepping, obviously, but also in life. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us the thumbs up. Be sure and subscribe and share this video out. I appreciate your time. And as always, guys, remember, prepare, survive, and thrive.